Check. 1 2 1 2. Check. 1 2. Hope the volume is good. Hope the levels are good. I just had a PC update. You know, the wrong time to get a PC update. It delayed things. I'm so grateful for all of you in the comments right now. Large up yourselves. Bader Games TV, episode 8 of CIA Intelligent Agendas. And this show is going to be crazy. If you're listening right now, those of you in the chat right now, my last show, Why Always Me, had a little bit of static on the microphone. If you're hearing any level of static, trusted in the comments, please let me know if everything's nice and clean. I see True City fan Patrick in the building. Let's go, Patrick. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Unfortunately, I'm walking outside, but I still decided to be part of this. So I hope you don't hear background noise.
No problem. The noise is calm. It's all good. It's not loud at all. We've got a special show, as you know. You're here, man. I haven't even done a proper intro. I was a little delayed, PC update and all that jazz. So first things first, my peoples come first. My peoples, those of you that are watching right now, those of you that will watch later, those of you that have already commented on the show, and obviously the peoples that helped me make this show possible. I got True City fan in the building. Anyone else within the CIAGC, free to join. They're more than welcome to join. We've got a lot to discuss. It is week 31 to go over. And you know what we do every week, all right? It's no surprise for those of you that have been here before, but let me break it down for those that may be new. We do a review of the past week. We do a preview of the upcoming week, and we deal with not everyone within the league. No disrespect, but not everyone in the league is a threat, is a target. We deal with those that are most threatening to Manchester City, and we deal with it intelligently with City Intelligent Agendas. You can see by the title, you can see by the thumbnail if you saw it on Twitter. We're gonna deal with a little bit of childhood years nostalgia, as well as childhood years influence, okay? We can all go back and look at our times as 13 to 18-year-olds, the things that influenced us, the things that are almost like a nice warm blanket, almost like warm milk at night, things that are nice and cozy, we always are connected to. And then we can also look with regards to the future, or should I say the present, and Manchester City's, if we want to go back to 10 plus 11, 12 years ago, and this sustained consistency with regards to winning and what it would mean to any child or any adolescent that was 13 that long ago. If you were 13 years old in 2012 and you've witnessed what City's been doing, this is often to what many today talk about the United years of dominance, the Premier League. Many were in their adolescent years, and you can see the influence that it has on them today. You can see how they talk about rivals, how they talk about historic clubs, how they talk about clubs that have a history and a consistency. Well, look at the 13-year-olds that witnessed Aguero. Look at those kids to now and what it means to City's consistency and the imprint that it's going to have on them. I can't wait to discuss it. I got Pitch Points Gundalorian in the building. We said this in the group chat, and I know I'm a little long-winded right now, but we said this in the group chat. We're flying by some of the threats this week. And we're flying by because of West Ham. Can you do something for me? Can you do something for me? I did not expect the result. I did not expect drop points from West Ham, but they did something for us. And we're going to be discussing Arsenal and their form that they're currently in. Ooh, let's go. Let me shout out first. The first in the building. Andrew in the building. He goes, I smell blood in the water. I smell that too, Andrew. If you've seen House Party, I smell that too. House Party, old school movie. Go back and look at the smell reference. You'll be laughing your head off right now. Andrew goes, City. Let's go. Again, apologies for being a little late, but we're here. We may be late, but we're on time. Hail up, Vader, my guy. The girl RK, big up, Vader. Thank you so much. Cap in the building. Chill day today. Good to be in here. Trust me, nice and chill. You know when, ladies in the chat, fellas in the chat, you know when it's like just one of those days, you think it's just going to be one of those typical days. Maybe it's a Monday, right? Maybe sometimes the blue Mondays, you don't really expect anything. But ladies, maybe you come home and your man surprisingly brought flowers, right? Fellas, maybe you're chilling at home and you know, but your significant one comes home and maybe cooks your favorite meal, or, you know, says, don't worry about anything tonight. Just relax, enjoy the game. Nothing to really go over today. Nothing, no stress. Imagine being pleasantly surprised with that. That was West Ham today. Patrick, pitch points before we get into it, because I got to do a little back behind the scenes things. Did either of you, and I'm going to throw this to you first, Patrick, did you expect anything from West Ham? Did you expect anything from West Ham today?
On the real, I was saying what I expected was desperate teams will be desperate and very dangerous. So I was expecting for West Ham, Nottingham Forest, all these other teams that are very desperate to do something because they need the points, you know. Sorry for the bike noise.
No,
Somebody's
summertime.
Christ.
You can tell it's summertime, man.
Yeah, it is. So somebody, instead of going home at this point in time, they're doing that. Anyway, so I was expecting that, okay, West Ham will not give it out easily because they need the points. I looked at the table, but I was shocked when the game started. And West Ham did not want to do anything. They were just passive. They didn't care. They were asleep. You're at home. Because, to be honest with you, if West Ham was at the Emirates, I wouldn't expect anything. But I was like, West Ham at home. West Ham have got decent players. They're going to do something. But I didn't want to speak it out. But I was just saying, West Ham are going to do something. But I didn't expect them to come back. What I can say is I didn't expect them to come back from a 2-0. Because I thought Arsenal are going to just ride this through. But it looks like there's a chink in the armor. This is the second time that Arsenal were 2 up. And it ended 2-2. And to be honest with you, West Ham and Liverpool could have taken off all 3 points if they were more clinical. Yeah.
Yes, it's very true. Now looking at it, they salvaged 2 points as opposed to really getting a result. And I heard this in one of the spaces. I think it might have been Professor Hamza that said they would have been better off with a win and a loss as opposed to 2 draws, if we really look at it from a mathematical standpoint. So I'm with you, man. I hear about the desperation. I hear about the teams fighting for their lives. But I'm gonna say this. I thought, based off of how consistent Arsenal have been, how when they've dropped points, they've kind of bounced back. I expected that type of bounce back. I expected them to be up and ready for it to play against West Ham. I've heard it all week about how consistent and dominant they've been against other London teams. So I did not expect anything. Pitch points, Gundelorian, if you're there. What did you expect of West Ham? Did you even think that they would have maybe caused Arsenal to drop points?
Good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to CIA, where we talk about things in a serious manner. Yeah.
Ooh, the laughter.
I've been having fun all day with Arsenal fans.
Talk about it.
I have many Arsenal fans who are my friends, but there's some who are just annoying, disrespectful, and disrespectful. And I keep saying to you, listen, I respect Liverpool. I know what they've done. They've chased us to the title up to 1 point for 2 or 3 years. So they know the scars. They've been there. They can tell you what it's like to chase this crazy team down, this madman but Guardiola down year after year. It's hard. It's difficult. And if anyone thinks it's going to get easier, think again. I just shared with you guys in the chat a very wonderful video about Guardiola's playing time at Barcelona.
Ooh, the group chat. It's exclusive. Sorry, those of you listening. It's exclusive to CIA, but yes, continue.
Right. And maybe from CIA, we can post it out to everyone using CIA, whatever it is, Veda, and True City as well. Post it out there because it goes back into the history of Pep when he was a little kid, when he was a ball boy. They actually have a picture of him as a ball boy with Terry Venables when they lifted the trophy. And Guardiola started playing early as a midfielder, and then Cruyff found him when he was in the academy and made him a number 6. And at the age of 20, Guardiola with Cruyff and Laudrup and Chiqui Begiristain and Ronald Koeman won the first Champions League for Barcelona in 1992. And they talk about that era that he played with them in a 3-4-3 system, by the way, not a 4-3-3 system, called Total Football, which is what we're seeing today with John Stones and all these guys. They went on to win title after title after title after title. I believe it was 4 or 5 La Ligas, 3 or 4 Kings Cups, 1 Champions League, complete dominance. And he was 20 years old. A 20-year-old, guy who now became captain of Barcelona. So if people think that Pep is just some kind of guy who needs money to do stuff, no. He's been playing ball for Barcelona, winning stuff, Champions League and La Ligas since he was 19, 16 years old.
And he's been surrounded by thinkers, the majority of his career.
He's been surrounded by thinkers who know the game, who understand the game, who know how to motivate players, right? He's been surrounded by these guys. So you see, when we talk about the fact that nothing is over, and kudos to Arteta, he's surrounded himself with Guardiola. Look at EsteemedKompany doing what he does at Burnley, right? Look at Xavi at Barcelona. 3 students. Look at Xavi Alonso at Leverkusen.
Coach, yes, Pep's coaching tree is very, very nice.
4 De Zerbi at Brighton. 5, right? There are 5 people we know who are in the Guardiola sphere of influence who are balling in their respective leagues. Brighton are doing well, playing some of the best football we've seen. Xavi's winning Liga, La Liga. Arsenal are close to the top. Company just won the championship, and what's his name is doing something Leverkusen. Xavi's doing well. So it's no surprise when we talk about that this team knows how to go the distance. His rotation, his system changes. We're freaking out at the start of the season. Or why is Pep playing this back 3? Where are the fullbacks? Why didn't we buy a fullback? Why didn't we buy a fullback? Why is Cancelo going away? We all fans are freaking out. And he said, I know more than you.
Yes, he did.
He called us the Twitter guys, right? That's what he called us, the Twitter guys, right? I know more than they do. Facts.
Yeah. You're right.
So here we are today, West Ham playing Arsenal. Going into the game, I had a glimmer of hope that somehow West Ham would respect themselves.
Okay.
That West Ham would show some respect for themselves at home, right? Respect. In Nigeria, we say respect yourself, right? 20 minutes in, 2-0 down. Patrick and I were talking. We're like, this is West Ham again, doing what they need to. That the Moyes is going to get sacked. And then the penalty happens, the game up, right? Penalty, the goal goes in. And then Saka unfortunately misses the penalty. And the game just completely unravels.
Saka unfortunately missed the penalty. Depending on your point of view. I hear you.
Yeah, my point of view is that some of the abuse he's getting online, that's my point of view of that, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm looking at it from the point of view of the abuse is getting online. It's just it's the tragedy. It's terrible.
Yeah. You know what? We'll get into it because this is.
But so West Ham, big 2-2, and I talked about this weeks ago. I told Patrick, I told you, we discussed it. Anytime we discussed it, we said that the honeymoon period, the honeymoon of easy home games for Arsenal, is coming to an end.
Yeah, keep talking.
We said clearly that the Liverpool game marks the beginning of the week or the months of hell. It could be, because you got to go to Anfield, you have to go to West Ham, you have to play Southampton, who are killing for points, who took points off you at the beginning. Then you got to go to City, and then you got to go to Chelsea, and then you got to go to Newcastle, and then you have to play Brighton. All these games which are potentially problem games that you have to face up to. So it's and meanwhile behind you is this shark who knows the waters.
Yeah.
Who knows where the cold water is. He knows how to fish, how to get the prey. He knows where to go. Right? And I did some analysis yesterday, Vader, and I said, okay, let me look at.
Do you want to go to that right now, or do you want to hold that?
Sorry, I'll hold that.
Yeah. Because that's on fire. That's on fire right there. I want to acknowledge everyone on the show right now. We got True City Fan. His channel details are there. They're there. You can click on it. please, if you're new to my channel, you hit me with a sub, you hit True City Fan with a sub, you hit Pitch Points with a sub. We're going to have a great conversation. I see you guys in the comments, and I respect them all. You know what we do every week. It's week 31, okay? 7 more weeks to go. It's week 31. And what we do here at CIA is we do a review and a preview. I know Gundalorian has that. He's got that heat. And he's got that heat because he's an intelligence agent. He's a Cite intelligence agent. And we're about to bring some of that intelligence and share with you. But I didn't want to give that too quickly. I do want to acknowledge the standings that we're in right now. Okay? You don't even see them right now, but I have to scroll down, and I'm going to do this right now. Our typical first threat, first target at week 31 is Chelsea. And Chelsea are still ranked 11th. They've played 31 games. They've got 10 wins. They've got 9 draws and 12 losses. They have a goal differential of 3, and they've only been able, I know I'm blocking it, they've only been able to get 39 points. Only been able to get 39 points. They haven't even gotten out of the mathematical relegation zone with regards to point tally. They're at 39 points. I'm going to click on them. We're going to deal with it very briefly. I'm not wasting money. I don't want to waste any time on Chelsea. There's no point. There's really no point. They're not a threat. But their last game played was yesterday. They played against Brighton. They ended up being a 2-1 win for Brighton. Chelsea have no bite.
Let me find I can find my report on Chelsea. I have a lot of great Chelsea fans who are fans who are my friends.
Okay.
Some are my friends, some are not my friends. And when Frank was appointed as a manager for Chelsea, it took me 24 hours to think about the appointment. And I don't like to comment often when I haven't thought through it. And I thought through it overnight, and I said to myself, why would Todd Bowley sack Potter with 10 games to go and go and hire Frank Lampard, who was sacked by Chelsea, who went to Everton, got them into the relegation zone, and then was sacked again?
Okay.
What's the logic? What's the plumb line? What's the thinking behind this? And then I look at some numbers, right? In 17 games played by Frank Lampard as a manager, 17 games, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Plus 14, he's drawn 2 and only won 1 in the last 17 games.
Wow.
He scored 11 goals, conceded 33, has a win percentage of 6%.
Ew.
In the last 17 games.
Ew. Why? Why hire him?
What was the logic or the thought process in hiring this guy to do exactly what? You're better off keeping Potter to the end of the season and then let him go.
I have a theory on that one. I have a theory, and it falls back to just how I've seen FSG, how I've seen the Glazers manipulate the fan base. I think Potter pulls on the heartstrings of the fan base that were so angry with Bowley, and obviously they weren't happy with Bowley because they were like, "Why did you fire Tuchel?" And then they kind of, okay, let's see what Potter does. And then obviously they turned and they got angry with Potter. And the fact that he fired Potter after saying that Potter was his long-term vision, I think for him not to get the angry mob, the pitchforks and the torches and everything like that, to go after Bowley, I think he said, you know what, let me bring on a legend of Chelsea who's kind of steered the ship during our difficult times when they were they had the transfer ban. Maybe I can buy myself a couple of months of not getting the angry fan base after me, because I hear you, Gundo, and you're absolutely right. From a coaching standpoint, from an X's and O's, from trying to get wins and prevent losses, Lampard makes no sense. You brought up those numbers; they make no sense. What could possibly be the reason to hire Lampard? I think it was an emotional one. Patrick, I'm not sure if you're there. You got any 2 cents?
No, I'm here. Chelsea, right, deserve everything they're getting right now. And to be honest with you, I said it like a joke. I said, you winning this Champions League is going to make you guys big-headed. And I for a minute believed Tuchel was the man when they were top of the table, and Carl told me to come down, say this ain't it. But I also say it jokingly as that you guys have become big-headed. You're having these ambitions, forgetting that Liverpool and City are here, and the Chelsea fans were in cloud nine. I think that's what happened. I think that winning that Champions League, I think whether we respect them for winning it, I think we still have to call it a fluke. I think it was one of those fluke moments that happened because of some spirit. And now they thought, oh, even the players themselves believed, oh, we beat City, the best team in the world, 3 times. Maybe we are that good. You know what I mean? I think they believe they are that good. The fan base believes they're that good. But things have just gone to shit ever since then. And I'm telling you, Potter was never the issue. Potter wasn't the issue. There's a disease at that Chelsea club. The fans themselves, with all due respect, and the whole institute. Because instead of trying to rebuild things slowly, they still want to just get to the top and consider themselves, as they call themselves, European giants. I don't think Chelsea is a European giant. I think Chelsea is just Chelsea. So bringing back Lampard, I think, was a mistake. I think the reason why they brought him back was just to appease the local fans, the true blues, just to make them happy so that they can shush, maybe support him while they're trying to scratch their heads to find somebody else who's much better than Lampard. Because I'm telling you, I've heard Chelsea fans say that Potter was not this bad. They've said that now. Yeah, so what makes me, I'm telling you, it was to appease fans. I'm pretty sure Carl maybe will agree. I think Lampard was brought to just appease the local fans because they're hardcore fans. They love him. He's their boy. They're going to back him till the ship goes down.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say this real quick with regards to Chelsea. They are 11th. We've got 7 more weeks to go. Chelsea, from a threat level, low, obviously based off of their ranking and based off of their performance. Yes, we do face them later in the year, but as of now, we're not spending much time on it. We've got more important things to discuss. Now, let me make sure I do this because I want to continue to give you guys the timestamps for those that watch this after the fact.
Vader game.
Now, next up after Chelsea, we've got Fulham. They're a threat to Chelsea. Brentford, a continued threat. Will they be fighting for the Europe? I don't believe so. I think they're out of it. Liverpool is next up at 44 points. They played 29 games, so they have 2 games in hand. 12 wins, 8 draws, 9 losses, a goal differential of 15. Real quick, when we look at Liverpool, they last played, and we talked about their game. Their last game was against Arsenal. That happened last Sunday. This week, they haven't played. They play tomorrow against Leeds. So we're not going to spend any time on Liverpool. I think we all said that well, actually, let's do this preview-wise. I think Liverpool get a result versus Leeds. I think Liverpool could possibly win 2-1, maybe even a 3-2. I think they win. Carl, what do you think? Leeds or Liverpool? I can't remember if we gave a preview on this.
I mean, it has to be. I mean, I think, is it away or are they at home?
They're away. Liverpool are away.
Who knows, man?
Yeah, I know threat level. Let's not waste too much time, but we can just throw out.
I think they get the 3 points. I do think they get it.
Liverpool get the 3 points.
Yeah, but then you have McKinney, you have all these guys. I don't know if Tyler's available.
You know what?
The problem with Leeds is Bamford is just terrible. Just lightweight. It's Liverpool, man. Liverpool
gets the point. They should get the points because, again, the teams above them all drop points. Tottenham drop points.
Tottenham is terrible, man.
Yeah. Oh, we're not going to waste much time on them as well. But I'm gonna say Liverpool get the win. Gundo says Liverpool get the win. Patrick, real quick, who do you think? Leeds at home get the win or Liverpool?
Who's home or away?
Leeds or home?
I think Leeds are going to beat Liverpool. I think their players are back. I think Liverpool's going to hold another L.
Liverpool another L. Don't take advantage.
Because Leeds are desperate. So I know Liverpool are desperate. The Leeds are desperate. And Leeds gave United a game before they got some of the little knocks and injuries. But I hear that players are back. I think Leeds are going to beat Liverpool. That ground is difficult, as Pep says. Leeds, I think, are going to slap Liverpool.
It is. Okay. Patrick, with the Leeds win, myself and Gundalorian, we say Liverpool. We'll come back, and you guys in the comments can let us know whether we are right or wrong on that one. Mike in the building, he goes, sorry, I'm a bit late, Vader. Vader mate, I was on another City stream. Please get the likes up, Blues. Vader doing brilliant content. Thanks, Blues. Myself, Patrick, and Gunnalorian, we do our best to make this possible for you each and every week. Hopefully, the background noise is not too bad. Wifey's doing my baby girl's hair. Dre, Pete in the building. Good discussion. Winning the UCL while scrapping top 4 in your own league doesn't make you a European giant for sure. That is the delusion. That is the confusion. That is what makes many of us frustrated when we hear how Chelsea fans speak of their club. Yes, they need to be confident. They need to, back their club. But when they talk about European giants, like slow down. You got to earn that. You got to earn that description. Okay. Liverpool dealt with. Brighton's next. Brighton continued to look good. They got that result against Chelsea. They are in striking distance of this top 4, playing for Europe at the very least. So their threat level is increasing. Brighton's threat level is increasing, but we're not going to spend any time on this right now. But they are on the radar. We are paying attention, and why we're paying attention from a CIA standpoint is because one of our games in hand is against them. It's away. If I believe correctly, it's an away game to them. So we need to make sure we keep on track with them. Let me put this up as well. Michael goes, I hope you're good, True City fan, and the same to Carl. Please give True City fan a subscribe, Blues, and the same with Carl's channel, Pitch Points. Thanks, Blues. Yo, Michael's on point with the praise and with the promo. I can always count on you, my friend. Thank you so much. In the building, we got Mancunian Way in the building, joining the other intelligence agents this week. Martin, thank you, and happy to have you on the show. We're just about to discuss Tottenham really briefly. We're just about to talk about Tottenham really briefly. Not going to waste much time on them. But Tottenham, 31 games played, 16 wins, 5 draws, 10 losses. They currently have 53 points. Their goal differential is 12. I don't think that's really going to be a factor with anything that they have to do. But I'm not spending much time on them. They actually bore me. Chelsea, Tottenham, they bore me. And the only reason they're getting discussed right now is because they continue to drop points when they shouldn't be. And they just had a home loss to Bournemouth. Patrick earlier, and I'm going to throw this to you, Martin. Patrick earlier talked about how many teams are fighting for their lives. Bournemouth are one of them, and they got a result against Tottenham. Bournemouth now it's at 14th in the league, but the separation from relegation or that group isn't very far. So Tottenham take a loss to Bournemouth. Anything you want to say? Did you look at the game highlights?
Yeah, no. Good evening to everyone. No, I watched some of the game. Bournemouth are very, very good. I always thought Bournemouth would get out of it because they were doing something the others aren't doing. They're getting the odd win here and there. And that's what's crucial. And they've got that fighting spirit. You can tell they're desperate to stay up. Tottenham are just a basket case of a football club.
They are. I don't know what
they're
to say about
a basket case. I don't even think they know who their next manager is coming in. They've got more scandals than us. That their chief exec suspended. I don't know where Tottenham even go. The sooner Harry Kane gets out of there and shows a little bit of ambition and disappears out of that football club, the better, because they're just, they've got a billionaire owner who sits there doing nothing. I shows off his £1 billion yacht every once a year. He's mugging them all off. Mugging them all off.
I know you guys clown me. You think I'm trolling, but honestly, Tottenham, no trophies, growing their fan base, usually on the plus side with regards to revenue. It's a case study, man. It's a case study for any owner or any director that just wants to make profit. That just wants to.
Do you want to run it as a business? Do you want it to be a business, or do you want it to be a football club? Which one do you want to be?
If you want it to be a business and just have enough success so the fan base get a little excited, they buy their season tickets, they go to the games, they have their we're better than you Arsenal, or we're better than you West Ham, or we're better than you Chelsea moments, but really trophy wise is not quite there. They're brilliant. It's a brilliant case study.
Let's build upon Martin's introduction here and think about what happened this weekend at Tottenham, right? Davinson Sanchez comes on to the field to come and play. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He comes on. We know he's not the best defender, right? But it's his job. Okay? It's his job.
Yeah.
Comes onto the field. He starts getting booed by his own fan base. The manager has to take him off the field because he's getting booed.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's unacceptable when you really think about it. He's on the pitch to try to win you the game. Like, why are you booing him before?
And then the kid goes to the sideline. You could see him in tears because his own family, his own fan base have booed him off the field against Bournemouth.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that for one moment.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. And again, I didn't watch the game. I just dealt with the extended highlights. But that you never want to see that. You in every case, you want to see a player given the benefit of the doubt as they play. If they come up and they fall short, or they have a blunder, they have a mistake, again, booing, there's ranges on how you really deal with that, but you don't cuss out a player before he's even played a minute or kicked a ball yet. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. I want to go to this comment real quick from Dre P. Dre P goes, you can see exactly why Pep chewed the team out when they struggled versus Tottenham, because, and he goes, they're awful this season. Tottenham are absolutely awful. And no, I'm with you. And Pep, I think Pep has applied pressure at the right moments. Pep has looked at his team. We all remember early in the season, we got a result, but Pep was like, that's not my team on the pitch. Those aren't my players. They're not playing like themselves. And so for him to see it and for him to be really, like, obviously disappointed when we dropped points against Tottenham and the state that they were in, he was absolutely right to do it. Like I said, we're not going to spend much time on Tottenham. The Spurs continue to do what Spurs do, but I will do this. Actually, we got to look ahead. They do play their next game on Sunday. So on Sunday, the next time we have this show, they will have played Newcastle away. Tottenham are playing an away game at Newcastle. Newcastle surprisingly got slapped. They got slapped from Aston Villa. Do we expect a response from Newcastle that they want this top four? Do we expect a response from Tottenham who just dropped points to Bournemouth? It wasn't too
surprising that they got slapped by Aston Villa, right? Think about this. They've been on this hot run for 4 or 5 games. They beat United. They beat somebody else that was big again.
They gave us trouble, but we won. But they gave us trouble.
So they got to a point where they're running hot. It's a game. It's 12:30 UK time. It's away at Villa. You're always going to get these one-off games that kind of, are kind of, and there you are. So it wasn't too surprising that they would struggle against Villa, who, by the way, are in very good form.
Yes, they are in very, very good form. I think ever since the loss, that late loss to Arsenal, I think they've gone on this run. So, okay. So, are we saying bounce back? Martin, bounce back Newcastle or bounce back Tottenham?
I would like to say Newcastle will bounce back. It depends how they come back from that defeat yesterday. Because it wasn't so much the defeat, it was more the performance.
Okay.
That they always put in as well. And that's what was really worrying from a Newcastle point of view. Listening to some of their fans, they were shell shocked at that performance.
They were expecting to actually have it click in. They were wasteful in transition. They didn't really have the number of attempts that they would expect. But I would say this, because as we talk about Tottenham, because their next game is against Newcastle, and Newcastle are 4th. They're ranked 4th in the standings right now. They've played 30 games, so Newcastle still have a game in hand. 15 wins, 11 draws, four losses. They have a better goal differential, 24. Their points is 56. So there's 3 points that separate Newcastle and Tottenham, and we know that they're fighting to secure top 4. Everyone is. We got United that are going to be stressed. Newcastle, Tottenham, Aston Villa are making a late push, and Brighton are going to be a type of spoiler in some shape or form with regards to Europe and maybe that 5th spot. So Newcastle 56, Tottenham 53. Who's getting points in this? This is a 6-pointer, as they would say, right? So who's getting the 3 points here?
I think Newcastle will just squeak it.
Newcastle squeaks the win at home versus Tottenham. Patrick,
because they've got a home advantage.
I'm with you, Patrick.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I'm with Martin on this. I think Newcastle are going to open up Spurs because Newcastle, yes, what happened to Aston Villa, I get it. It's been a down a bit, but I think they have more than enough. And you know how hungry they are. I think they're going to beat Spurs. I think this is going to be bad for Spurs. Because Spurs is, I don't know if the partner agrees with me. Spurs is just a team, I repeat, that just works hard when they come to the Etihad or they're playing against City. Apart from that, they have nothing else. They have nothing else to do. And the only way, do you know what they do? Spurs are, I don't know if it's a good example. Do you know people who like sloppy seconds? That's what Spurs are. When other people are... Listen, let me give an example. Why?
Wait,
because
are you talking food? You're talking food.
Yeah, maybe food. Okay, cool. You know better. The thing about Spurs is...
We're going here.
Yeah. Okay, let me land. So Martin and Carl and Veta, the thing about Spurs is they wait for teams like Arsenal, United to start falling for top 4, then they jump in, scoop in, and just take it.
Vultures, right?
Maybe I should have said that instead of the other thing I said there. Anyway, that's what they are. But the thing is, I think they're going to get beaten by Newcastle, and I think Newcastle is going to enjoy embarrassing Spurs.
I mean,
do you know what?
Martin,
sorry, go on.
Yeah, I mean, Martin, what I'm hopeful of, maybe this is just me, right? Is I don't think Spurs deserve to be in the Champions League next year.
They don't.
I think Newcastle deserve to be in Champions League next year, not Spurs, because Newcastle have excited us. And hopefully they get to excite us once more in the next couple of weeks, right? But they're exciting. They give us a hard time. They play without fear. They actually progress the ball forwards. Tottenham are just blah.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what Tottenham remind me of? And this is the best analogy I can think of off the top of my head. And I don't mean this in a disrespect to ourselves either. They remind me of City 25 years ago. Get 6 points over United and we're happy. Tottenham are on that mind level. Get 6 points over Arsenal and they're happy. They're just there to exist. Until they get that venom out of that football club in Daniel Levy and Joe Lewis. Because it's like troubles with Tottenham. They've sat there and they've made a nice house. And they've made all the outside look absolutely fabulous. But the insides are falling apart.
Yeah.
And that's what Tottenham are. They're pretty on the outside. They are venom on the inside. And what they need to change is the whole culture. And when I mean just Harry Kane, I don't just mean Harry Kane. They need a full reset from top to bottom, from board to manager to players to everything. They need to reset, get a plan in place. If any club needs a takeover, it's Tottenham. Yeah. That is the club that need the takeover because they seriously need to start thinking, or they are going to be so left behind. Because I'm telling you now, Newcastle ain't going to stand still. City won't stand still. Chelsea will eventually get going again. Liverpool will not. Well, Liverpool may do. But
Brighton won't stand still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Villa.
Martin, I don't want you to get killed in the comments post-show. So can you maybe be a little clearer on the City Tottenham example? Because I don't want you to get killed in the comments that are going to say they are us 20 years. Like, can you clarify that a little bit?
What I mean by that is when City got promoted back to the Premier League and we were fighting, we were there and we got, all the fans, including myself, we always looked 6 points on United and we were happy. 6 points over United, we were happy. Okay. And it was wherever we finished in the league is where we finished. Because at the time we didn't have the
winning mentality.
Yeah, no, we had the mentality as fans, but we didn't have the infrastructure to do it, if that makes sense. We knew we couldn't do it. We needed something to reset.
Gotcha.
The
For
simple
time
fact
being,
is,
I hear you. For the time
Tottenham,
being, no one okay.
Tottenham we're a fabulous club. Listen, I'm old enough to remember Glenn Hoddle and all them. Ricky Villa, just before my time, Ricky Villa. They were fabulous. Such an entertaining football team. And at some point, they had Gaza. They had all these superstars. And they just, it's all down to Lever and Enoch. I don't know what it was. It became a business. You look at Levy's background. He's head of this board, head of that board, in charge of that UEFA process. That is what matters to him.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to concentrate on his own. Which other football club bring in 4 of the top managers in the world of football who have won everywhere they've been and they all flop?
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
But then when they go everywhere else, they win.
I'm with you.
I don't understand the football club. I don't get it because the fans don't deserve that. They've got a striker who is good but has no ambition whatsoever. He wants to be everyone's fan favourite at Tottenham rather than his own ambition.
I'm with you on that.
Because he's going to sit there with his grandkids and go, look at me, I've got a top goal scoring World Cup trophy. Great, well, show us your medals, what you won at Tottenham. Can't do that, sorry.
I think I would sell him, Martin. I think I would sell him and Son and invest. I think they need new people. I think the team needs to stop depending on Son and him. Sell them, bring young players and start building. I think Harry Kane is also part of the issue at Spurs.
They need to do a Liverpool Coutinho type sale. Get Kane out, get Son out, and reset. Get young quality or the next.
It's like they can't let go of it. With Kane, it's like a toy that they can't let go of. As a child, we always had that blanket and that toy, that rattle that we didn't want to let go. It was falling apart, but we clung to it for dear life because that was our safety blanket. And that's what Tottenham fans are doing on Kane. That's their safety blanket because they can sit there and go, we haven't got this, we haven't got that, but we've got Harry Kane up top.
I want to go.
That's what they talk about.
I hear you. I want to go to this comment. I got Singing the Blues in the building. He goes, and it's a great point as we then move on to Man United. But Singing the Blues goes, how many clubs will make City the enemy responsible for their failures and their fans eat it all up? We've seen this, and as we transition, we get into the conversation with regards to Man United. We've seen the success that United have had. One of the talking points is nostalgia, right? Our younger years and remembering the times before. When United were on their spell and winning. If they're not winning, they're second. If they're second, they're getting a trophy. They were just so consistent. There was not any talk about ruining the league, about Farmers League, about an unbalanced, about an unfair scale within the league. But you hear that, and rival fans eat it up, whether it's pundits, whether it's whatever these media channels are that talk and always put City in the negative light, where City is looking or are competing consistently, no different than what the Reds across the street would do. But for some reason, and I hear you sing the blues, for a reason pushed by the media, eaten up by their fan base, they seem to think that City doing it is wrong.
Well, Vader, what I maybe Martin can help me here. And I know the answer to my question is I remember when I was younger and United were winning everything. Mm-hmm. I just couldn't stand it because all my friends were United fans and some were Chelsea fans. I followed football, but I wasn't a fan of any English team, frankly. I liked Barcelona. I liked the years of Romario and all those guys. Mm-hmm. But I always found it interesting that the reason why I hated United, not because I lived in Manchester, I had no clue, right? It was because all the media, the circus around the media were always hyping up this team from Manchester. Yeah. And I found out actually they're not from Manchester, from Salford, which is outside of Manchester. Haven't been there myself a few times now. But all of a sudden, when City in the blue side of Manchester is now winning and dominating the game, all of a sudden nobody wants them to win the league. people complain about money or this or that. But when United were winning it, all of a sudden they wanted him to win it. How great Sir Alex was. We're all dominating. It's United's to win. It's never, I just find it so disingenuous the way a lot of the media react. And I see it even in the manager's voice, see it in Pep Guardiola's tone, and he talks about this stuff, that he doesn't get the respect that he deserves.
No, he doesn't.
And
It will always be the case, sadly. United will always be the same with Liverpool. Same with everything. They'll always have the air of the media. They'll always have everything. Always have the darlings, and we will always wreck football. It's like Bernardo Silva said it, I think, last year or the year before. How many times have we won the league and look at all the teams of the season and look at all the player awards? They very rarely. I think KDB was the first one last year to get any kind of recognition. Don't ever count on Erling Haaland getting a Ballon d'Or this year.
Oh,
You just forget that. Erling Haaland, if Erling Haaland was in a Real Madrid shirt, his Ballon d'Or nailed on.
I think Erling's different though, Martin. I think Erling is just.
We're gonna get into it, guys. We're gonna get into that. We will. We got Klilnical in the building. Klilnical, I was looking for a break in the convo. Thanks for being on the show. Another City intelligence agent. Hope you're doing well, my guy. We just about to get into talking about Manchester United, and I'm sure you see it. I'm sure you see the downplay, lack of enthusiasm, lack of credit that's not given to our manager, but also not given to our club as an organization, and also not given to the players, and dare I say, it's also not given to our fans, which actually drives me crazy. They are quick to throw salt. They are quick to point out the challenges that our fan base have, maybe attending all of the success that we do have, but they're quick to point that all out. Klilnical, how do you deal with some of the criticism that you either hear throughout the media or maybe some of the battles you have amongst your friends?
Honestly, it's come to a point now where I hear it, I think about it, and I realize a lot of these guys really just hate us. And it's banter, and then there's banter plus. And it now makes me see that they genuinely have a problem with giving Manchester City props. I'm not sure if it's because they have this thought in their mind that we didn't do it the right way, like Liverpool supposedly did. But even to what Martin just mentioned with the team of the season, last season they had Thiago in DM. Thiago from Liverpool. He's not even a defensive midfielder. Mm-hmm. But he got in DM over Rodri, who was amazing for the entire year. And Klopp won manager of the season last year, even though Pep had more points, more wins, less defeats, and won the league. So I see a lot of this stuff, and there is literally no rationale behind how you could explain how these decisions are made. So how I come to grips with it is just realizing that, you know what, in our circle, amongst other Blues, is where we'll find the real truth about our club. Yesterday, for example, I was on a post about Haaland, and I saw this guy that said he's 7.5 feet tall and 300 pounds. He's expected to be doing what he's doing. He's nothing great. If you put any other striker in our team, he'd do the exact same as Haaland is doing. And I just said to him, you know what? Have a good rest of your day, sir, because this is not a conversation that I'm even going to try to indulge in.
Can I give a perfect example?
Yes, go ahead.
Let's go back 12 months. Oh, you have to go back 12 months. What were Liverpool on the course of doing 12 months ago?
The quad.
Yeah, the quad.
Yeah, but all you heard about, mate, it was this best team in the world. The quad was on. It was here, there, and everywhere. You couldn't go 5 minutes without hearing about a quad.
Yeah.
Manchester City are on for the treble. I call it the treble because this is the treble. Not saying we'll do it. I'm saying we're on course for it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hear a word. And then the other thing you'll notice, all the Premier League rumours have gone. All the talk about charges and everything else has disappeared. Give it 2 weeks. Approaching that, I don't know. Give it a week. when we're about to approach the Arsenal game, when we're about to approach an FA Cup semi, when we're about to hit semi-finals of a Champions League.
Yeah.
What do you think's all going to start getting plastered back out?
Yeah.
It's a distraction. It is, and what we've done is we've been very good within ourselves to go, we can deal with this. What we're going to do, we're going to ignore all the noise.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing what's happened is it's actually had the adverse effect on us than what they wanted. What it actually did was galvanize us all together.
Yes. Hold that point.
That's what it did.
Point. Yeah, hold that point, because there's some interesting quote unquote records or streaks that have actually been a result of our team, Pep, with the speech and how the players have played ever since the breaches and him addressing the media. I want to talk real quick about Dre P. He goes, man, I say screw the respect. I'd prefer to continue racking up the trophies. Haters can keep the respect. And he's got a yawn emoji. I'm with you. When we built up the battle scars.
You know, the funny thing about respect and trophies is that in a millennia, right, the memories of those haters who don't give you respect fades away, because when all is said and done, the kids of the future are going to point back to a certain period of time. In Manchester, there was a blue team that won trophies.
Yes.
The trophies do not change. They're
brilliant. Brilliant.
The rumors, the innuendo, the negativity, the bias, all that fades away into nothing. All that stands is that trophy that you won. It's ingrained in history, in the sands of time.
No, that's poetry. I'm gonna let that simmer right there. Sands of time. I like that.
CIA,
True.
man. CIA.
Yo, trust me.
It's true. It's absolutely spot on. And the simple fact is, like you say, we move in the shadows. We move very quietly. And that's the way the football club has always been lately. For the last 15 years, we move quietly, we move with caution, and we do our job. We don't allow the outside noise to affect. And the best way to deal with it is just ignore it, because it will not change. I was listening to something on a radio show over there last week, and nobody was giving Pep Guardiola Manager of the Year.
Yeah,
Even if Arteta didn't win the league, everyone else was giving it. Everyone else. I said to everyone a long time ago, you have to accept it, not fight it, because it won't change.
Yeah, no,
That's
I'm
true.
with you on that one. And it's also a big reason why channels like ours are so valuable, because this is how we get to champion what we're seeing. And really, yes, we don't have the hugest platforms, but for those of you that do tune in, you're able to hear us and hear the consistency. You know, you can hopefully decipher through the hatred and, you know, the ad. What I say is the purposeful downplay of what City are and City have been. Dre P goes, I think Man U, Liverpool, etc. are still revenue generating, and so that could be why the media are still stroking their ego. For money, another 10 years of City dominance, and that could change. Dre P, that's exactly right. That's why the thumbnail had 13 to 18. Those are adolescence years. All right. There's 3 stages of childhood. And when you're able to have an influence like this, when you're able to be so successful consistently for that next group of football players or football fans, and they're seeing City do what they do. And if we want to go back and think of the 13-year-olds of the first time with the Aguero, if you want to go back to those kids and what they've witnessed for the last 10 years, that is like the early Premier League in the early 90s. That's the imprint that it's had on many of us that are adults today. That's the same influence. Let me go to this real quick, because I want to stop talking about United. Brilliant points to Martin. Michael points out, Singing the Blues goes, my media prediction are pre-Arsenal. Wait, I'm trying to get this. Pre-Arsenal is court/top anonymous lawyers confident of monumental charges being proven against City. Oh, okay. I see what he's talking about. He's predicting some of the not tabloid, but some of the prints and media, some of the titles or conversations that may come out later in the year. It's going to happen. And to Martin's point earlier, and even when Klilnical was mentioning, the success that we have, and Gundo also privied me to this a couple months back, is like when we were just getting so far along in the Champions League, like clockwork, it's like FFP or UEFA investigation. It always seemed to come about, and it's going to be like clockwork again. We just need to continue to have the tough skin and to be prepared for it, because after the semifinal in FA Cup, when things are a little more certain, the trouble or City being bad for football or the alleged breaches, all that stuff is going to be coming out. Virtual Oath Studios goes, Arsenal could get over 90 points. They've raised their game, but it could still lose the league. It's true. It's true. This is where the level's at right now.
I actually made a prediction that Arsenal will get 88 points.
We're getting into it. Yeah, this is virtual. We're gonna get right into that.
I'm here. I'm back in like 10 minutes. Okay.
No problem. Awesome. Singing the Blues goes, yes, Vader and Martin. I love your shows. Reminds me that there is sense in the world. Singing the Blues. Thank you so much.
Cheers, mate.
I've been catching your tweets as well. I like the battles you fight. FIFA goes, I swear, if we don't get Oscar, okay, FIFA, fall back on that one. JP goes, Virtual Oath Studios, and that's because City this era are just out of the world. Facts. Now, United, 30 games played. They have a game in hand. They've got 18 wins, 5 draws, 7 losses, 9 goal differential. Not very good. 59 points. Clear separation between them and us, between second and third. So they're fighting to remain in third, 4th spot. I believe if they were to fall to the 5th spot, that would be a very disappointing season for them. But United's next game, they had there's postponed against Chelsea. So their next game next Sunday will be against Brighton. It's away. Brighton are the home team in the FA Cup. Their last game, United's last game, was against Sevilla, and they did suffer a number of injuries. Disappointing 2-2 draw. They were leading that game till 2-0, and came back to a draw. I believe that they're in injury crisis mode. There's going to be a lot that they need to manage, because Brighton are a dangerous team. I'm going to throw this to you, Klilnical. FA Cup, Brighton's form, they look good. Brighton looked good. United, couple injuries, especially in defense. What would you say? Who do you think's coming out of the FA Cup?
Well, I missed the Chelsea section because I was a bit late, so I
don't
didn't
worry
get to
about
give
that.
you the stat. I found out yesterday that Brighton have actually never beaten Chelsea at home before yesterday.
Talk about
Never.
So that's Brighton's form to do something historical.
Right. And that goal that they scored I think it was the one that gave them the lead. That was amazing. They suffered an injury of their own, I believe, in that game, but it definitely shows that they still have players who can hurt you. And at this point where United are, I do think that they're definitely in trouble of making that final. They weren't super convincing against Forest today. They got their job done, and Keylor Navas was still amazing, pulling saves out of everywhere, but they still show that they have an issue with putting the ball in the back of the net. And a better team like Brighton, I'm definitely sure, a neutral venue and a chance to go into the final, I'm sure Brighton and their fans will be all over that. So I wouldn't be purchasing any tickets for Wembley at the final if I was a United fan.
I hear that. Let me throw this to Martin. Did you watch Europa? Did you watch them play that game?
I watched it later on.
Okay.
United are very clever. They beat the teams they're meant to beat. But when they get anyone in and around them or above them, they start struggling.
Can I also just add?
Yeah.
Can I also just add to that, Martin? Did you guys realize that Sevilla are, I think, 13th in La Liga and 5 points off a relegation in that league?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're having a terrible season, and I think
Beating Sevilla's not for everyone.
I think I saw a stat that said they've never beaten them, and it goes back to, I think, 8 years ago for the first game I saw on the graphic, and they haven't beaten them in 8 years.
That's messed up.
I mean, look, like, well, it's not. That's just plain facts of the issue, isn't it? It's not for everyone to beat Seville. No, the simple fact of this is, I mean, United are at home next week, so you would think, being at home, that they should beat Brighton. I'll let you figure that one out. I'll let you figure that one out in a minute. I'll let you come down.
No, Wembley. I got you. Wembley's supposed to be the second home.
They're in central London, so they're at home. We all know they're at home.
I got you.
That's where the majority of their fan base is. Yeah, we know that. Quite simple. Won't be a long trek for United fans down to Wembley next week. No, the simple fact is, United, I've always said this, it'll be a City Brighton final.
Whew, that's going to be a tough final.
United will not be in it. I promise you now. Because the trouble is with Brighton are a funny club. Brighton are a funny club because they want to go somewhere. Trouble is, they're always going to have the bigger boys come along and pinch their crown jewels out of them. Whether it be a manager, whether it be a player, whether it be whoever, someone will always come along. The bigger person in the playground will come along and take their prize assets away. Sadly. And they get well rewarded for that.
Yeah.
But because Brighton don't have the capacity at boardroom level to go on to the next level. They might do it for a season or two, but they can't on a consistent basis. And I don't mean that with any disrespect. But United are the opposite to Tottenham. Now, I said earlier on, Tottenham are very good. They've got all the fancy dressing room on the outside, and on the inside's a mess. United are a bit of both. They've tried to address the on-field stuff with Instagram signings because they wanted to go down the road of, like I said, they were very clever behind the Glazers. There was a bit of an uproar with the Glazers. Then all of a sudden, bring them a new toy, and bang, they all shut up again for 3 months.
Yeah.
While that's all been going on, they've neglected all their outside. We've all seen it. Old Trafford leaks water like anything. It's falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
But you never heard about it. You only heard about it in certain things. You only heard about it when things are bad.
Yeah.
When things are bad on the field is when the Glazer out campaign goes strong. While they're winning, the Glazer outs go very quiet.
No, you're
Because,
right.
like I said, can't see it, don't notice it. Like I said, they're like children. Give them a new toy, feed them some nice food, and they all shut up and go quiet.
Well, Martin, to your point, when things aren't good, that's when they tend to talk about the Glazers and bring up all the things that aren't happening around the stadium and their training pitch.
It's like the takeover. How long is this takeover going for?
No.
I've never known a take. And all of a sudden, a takeover is now, well, it's going to take 6 months.
It's good to take. No. The Glazers are brilliant.
Yeah,
maybe we'll talk more on Citizens and Neighborhood Watch because that's when we kind of go in a little deeper with regards to the focus on United. But the Glazers are absolutely brilliant to delay this transfer, delay this takeover, delay this.
Because they're not selling Vader. They never were selling.
But if you dangle that carrot in front of them, it calms them down. So they know exactly what they're doing. Maybe
it's for fans.
I'm with you now because I didn't want to spend too much time on United, but they suffered the injuries, unfortunately, in that Sevilla game. I think that's going to make their season, their life very difficult. We'll see how they bounce back. We'll see which players step up. This is why Ten Hag is paid the big bucks. We'll see how he's able to manage these players. With regards to Brighton, I think all of us, those of you in the comments, let me know who's winning, Brighton or United, with regards to this FA Cup. I think it would be so sweet to slap up United in an FA Cup final. But we'll have to wait and see. Brighton, many of you, I think, believe Brighton's winning that game. And then they play. After Brighton, that's the only game. And then we'll do the show next. So let me know in the comments I see Conway in the building. Let me know what you guys think. Who's winning the Brighton United game? I actually hope we get United in the final. The win would be more sweeter. Conway, yeah, I'm with you, man. I think
Don't think my heart would take that.
no, your heart could take it. You're going to be so amped up for it. You know what? Everyone traveling, pretty much all of Manchester traveling. Ooh, the police, the police that were needed to be ready for the Arsenal Chelsea game, why the game got delayed, would probably have to make different arrangements to have the forces ready for City United. But
well, the good thing the league's out. I think the league is over by the time the FA Cup final rocks round.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
It's the week after, and then it's the week after the Champions League.
Is it going to be? It's going to be League FA final then.
League FA Cup Champions League.
Okay.
The league finishes the weekend of the 28th, or on the 28th. Weekend after is the FA Cup final, and then the 10th is Istanbul.
Okay. Dre P goes, well said, Martin. It was open bus parade when they re-signed Ronaldo. It wasn't.
This is why I've been very relaxed on all this. You know, when people have been telling me about this fixture congestion, and City will have an eye on this, and City will have an eye on that. No, because there's a 3-week gap between everything.
Ooh, so, I did not know this. Conway points out that Brighton have a injury crisis as well. Veltman's hurt and McAllister's hurt. Okay. So I'm curious how long that'll be, if it's going to affect that game on Sunday. Oh, you said Ferguson, not McAllister. Okay.
Oh, is it Ferguson now?
Yeah, you said Ferguson. Ooh, that's even worse. Now let me do this.
Vader game.
I told other agents to let me know if they're free, and I'll be able to throw it to them. But this is what we're all here for, okay? This is what we're all here for. The post-match discussions, conversations, whether it's Twitter Spaces, whether it's YouTube, we've all done it. We've had them already, all right? Brilliant channels, Pitch Points, True City Fan, Mancunian Way. Those channels do an excellent job post-match, talking about performances, talking about players. On this show, we're gonna do less review of that because we've done it. We're gonna do some preview for what's happening, and we're definitely going to talk about Arsenal and their current form. Stay with me. This is going to be a great conversation. But Manchester City, 30 games played. We have a game in hand. All right, 22 wins, 4 draws, 4 losses. The goal differential is 50. Points 70. Our last game, or the last time we had this show, we discussed Bayern, or we previewed Bayern and we reviewed Southampton. We also previewed Leicester, and now we have the results. We have the results of Bayern and we have the results of Leicester. 3 goals in Champions League at home. That first leg properly dealt with. The reviews, we've done it. Next game up, which happened to be yesterday, we played against Leicester City, scored another 3 goals. We didn't keep a clean sheet this time, but we scored another 3 goals. And dare I say, we're in a groove. My lighting's starting to mess up now. Why is it doing that? But dare I say, we're in a groove now. We're in a groove. We're scoring goals. We players know what's expected of them. I said this on Mancunian Way. Literally, the kickoff to the game against Leicester, I don't know, it must have been Holland over the ball at center. He literally turned, kicked the ball to Ederson. Not one Leicester City player crossed their half to go press any of us. They dropped back, and it already told us what kind of day to expect. It's going to be one of those days. Let's prove that we can break them down. Let's get the goal, and we get that goal. Now they have to come out, and let's punish them. It was a very, very well managed game to the 3 goals. We couldn't be critical and say a lot kind of fell off with the same intensity, the same focus. And I think that's why it resulted in that 3-1. And it got a little antsy. I wasn't sitting back, feet reclined like I should have been the last 50 minutes of that game. but we handled it. We got that 3-win. I want to talk about what's up and coming. And I see you guys. I see you in the comments. This upcoming week, on Wednesday, we play against Bayern Munich, the away leg. We're up 3-0 within this tie. I'm gonna throw this to you, Klilnical. What are your expectations with us going to Bayern on the 19th? What are your expectations with us going to Bayern?
Especially after the special twist that we just saw in the Premier League title race. I definitely believe that Pep is going to this Bayern game to win it. I previously thought that he might subtly play for a draw. I know that's not his style, but I know I had a feeling we'd set up more compact and reservedly go forward, similarly to how we approached the Real Madrid game in the second leg of the semi-final. You know, the first 70 minutes before we made all the wholesale changes like we did in this game. We had that same approach where we were compact. We focused a lot on our defensive aspect of the game, and then we went forward selectively, and that produced us scoring first. So I did initially feel like we go in with a similar sort of approach, but for this game now, after all of that, I do feel like he wants to stamp on this game like, yeah, we are here. Before we go into that Sheffield United game, I do feel like we'll make changes close to the end of that Bayern game again, maybe later than we did against Leicester. But I do feel like Pep is going for a win away at Bayern just to ensure that we stamp our place in that semi-final. Because they'll be coming for us. They will be coming out hot. The tie is not over for them. I'm sure that they're looking at ways of how they can come back and mount a Liverpool-esque comeback like they did against Barcelona in their home ground in Munich. So we have to be on it, and I do think we'll be ready for them.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. I got to start that comment for sure. Thank you, Dre P. So we play against Bayern, expecting a win. Martin, expectations versus Bayern.
I'm quite relaxed.
Martin relaxed on a Champions League game away. Okay. Well, what's your relaxed level?
Because the ball's in our court. Everything's in our hands. Bayern Munich are 3 down. To get level, they have to come out as a score 3. Now, Bayern Munich cannot do the flat pack 10. They can't sit back. They've got nothing to hold on to. Their club's in a little bit of disarray. Their dressing room's in a little bit of disarray.
Yeah.
Simple fact is, they will have to come at us from minute 1. Which does what? Gives us space. And we will punish them. I have no doubt whatsoever Manchester City will score 1 or 2 goals, maybe more, in the Allianz Arena. Okay. So now, Bayern Munich have to score 4. This is the beauty of that first leg. You have to score 4 just to get to touch up, to get to extra time.
Yeah.
City.
That's remembering that they haven't scored against us in the first tie either.
The simple fact is, I think we go with the same 11 that started last week.
Okay, let's not do.
I'm just saying. I just think we will get it done. We will move. We will bounce, and then we bounce into Saturday. And I think I honestly, maybe I'm being too overconfident, but I have no worries or concerns on Wednesday night whatsoever. The only other way they can do it is if they screw us.
Okay.
Which I don't think they will.
Yeah, it is something at the back of our mind to kind of think about. We've seen dodgy calls. We've seen, I'm with you on that one. I'm not sure if Pitch Points is back, but I want to say this with regards to Champions League. The 3 goals, the smart way how that game was managed, the big save that Ederson was able to do, I think the players are dialed in. I think they're laser focused for that game. I didn't want to do too much of a preview, but I did want to get your takes on how you guys thought the game would kind of go with regards to a result. And I could actually see us holding them stifled and winning that game 1-2-0, 2-1. I can see it being like one of those games where we still outscore them, and it's controlled that way, because like you mentioned,
beating us 2-1 puts us through. This is the problem Bayern have got.
No, I'm saying we still win 2-1, but I think them coming out, to your point, I think them coming out to try and score against us is going to leave them even that much more vulnerable, because they would have looked at that film study. They would have looked at what happened in the first leg, and they're like, we're vulnerable in way too many places. So when they come out, I think we're going to catch them.
And that isn't what Tuchel does. Tuchel doesn't come out playing expansive attacking football.
He's going to have.
So now he's going to have to come out. He's going to have to totally come out of his comfort zone now.
Yeah.
He's got to literally sit there and go, I've got to change all my tactics around. I can't go in my tactics I normally want to do. This is not Chelsea in a one-off final.
Yeah.
You are 3 down. Ball is in our court, and it's why I'm so relaxed on it.
Oh, Michael's got jokes. He goes, Martin, in advance, because he knows with the watch along. I just want to say this: good luck with Alan on the watch along on Wednesday, Martin, mate. So
don't worry, I'll keep him in check.
Make sure you get your nap before the game. Michael goes, well said, Dre P, mate. Dre P goes, a 2-1 versus Bayern is my hope. I'm betting they will score and City will be clinical again. I'm in agreement. And we know our attackers, and that's Grealish, that's Holland, that's Alvarez, that's Mahrez, that's Silva, that's KDB, that's Rodri. We know those guys are going to be looking for they're going to be looking for it. They're going to be looking for it. They're up for it. It's amazing. Now, real quick, the FA Cup. FA Cup is going to be on the Saturday. Sheffield United. We won't get a chance to talk CIA before then, but those of you watching right now, what are we thinking with regards to this? Is it going to be a full strength team? I'm not going to do any previews, no scores, nothing. I just want to ask you, because we play on the 19th. 3 days later, we play against Sheffield United. I just want to do this for comedic purposes. Klilnical, are we playing a full-strength team? Is Ortega in net, or do we have Ederson? What do you kind of envision?
I personally do think that Ortega will play. I'm not sure if, hopefully, if we do get to the final, if he would
semifinal.
Or
we're talking semifinal.
Go for Edison, but I think for the semifinal we do make some rotations. I think we'll go half strength, and by that I mean half of the starting players that are playing in this current system.
Yeah, in the Champions League.
Yeah, right. With some rotation where players like Laporte, Ortega, Phillips, these guys come in. I do still think Foden might make an appearance. I'm hoping that he's good enough to start. If not, then I'd love to see him come off the bench and get some minutes in his legs before we tackle the rest of the season after that game. But I do think that we have some rotations to make to the squad, and I do think that we'll still have enough to get it over them. The big thing is that McAtee and Doyle won't be able to play. I think that's key for us, and I do think that Sheffield will be a little less motivated at that fact, but they'll still come with pride. I know that they will enjoy their night out at Wembley, and their players will want to give their fans something to rave about in the game. So we can't be looking at this game like how, I'm gonna say that for the Arsenal section, but we can't be looking at this game as if we already won it, or we're already 2-0 up or 3-0 up. We do have to go in and do a job. And what I want to see personally is, especially from the players that don't get to play week in, week out now, I want to see that hunger and giving Pep that headache. Like, am I going to still go with this same team that faced Bayern Munich, or do I want to now incorporate some of these players because of the hunger they're showing, or the level that they played in that semi-final with? That's what I want to see in that display on Saturday.
Okay. Not mad at that. Not mad at that. Let me ask. Let me ask you, Martin. Full strength team with the exception of Ortega, or do we see rotation?
You'll see rotation.
Okay.
We should have said last on this.
Too funny.
Obviously, we got the Arsenal game 3 days later, 4 days later. Ortega will start every game in the FA Cup. Even if we hit the final, Ortega starts. Pep promised him. Pep keeps his promises.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all right with some Laporte, fine with Walker. I'm not sure about Akanji now because that was a weird one yesterday, so he may play some part.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy with either Alvarez or Haaland in that game.
Yeah.
You see, it's Pep. I don't know. He may roll out full team and Ortega, win the game, take them off after 45 minutes. I don't know. It's a weird one with this.
So
when you say rotate, give me an example of rotation.
So when I say that is like, so maybe we would expect the 11 that start in the Champions League for it to not be the same 11 to play.
So who comes in?
So we could possibly see Silva dropped for Mahrez, and we could see maybe Gundo.
Sorry, I'm back.
Oh, big ups. Maybe
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the 11 that plays in Champions League. Will it be the same 11 that plays in the FA Cup semifinal?
Do you mind if I share my research just real quick to everyone out there?
On the points from the points tally?
On the schedule?
On the scheduling? Yeah, you know what? Let's get into it. And if you can also give your take on whether you think it would be the same 11 or different 11.
Okay.
But yeah.
So they did some research on the schedule. I know there's this whole idea that somehow the schedule is going to be difficult and it's back-to-back games and semifinals. Let's be clear. Here's what we found. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We know we play Sheffield United on Saturday, right, Martin? Correct, Saturday, Martin?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, we thank the gods because that should be a decent game for us. I expected that to be. Now, Sheffield United are good, but they have no McAtee. They have no THP, right? They're not going to play because they're not allowed to play, correct?
Correct. Nope, the banned.
Right. So hopefully City can do their thing, get in the groove, and hopefully get to the final. And then you play Arsenal.
And let me add to that, Carl.
And before that, but by the way, before you play the Sheffield United, by God's grace, you have qualified for the semi-final of the Champions League, which is in 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Yeah, I have it on screen.
Not 2 weeks, but 3 weeks away, May 9th or something, I believe, something like that. Which means after Sheffield United, you actually have 2 weeks of just Premier League games to prepare for the potential semi-final. Now, before you go away to Madrid, hopefully it's Madrid or maybe it's Chelsea, hopefully we get through. If we get through, you have a home game against Leeds United. And you have 3 days rest before the first leg of the semi-final, which is not a bad draw to have.
Okay.
If we remember last year, we had Atletico, Liverpool, or something like that in the running, which killed Kyle Walker, and he was out and couldn't play the second leg of the semi-final, which destroyed our hopes. And Laporte was injured as well. This year, we have Sheffield United, Arsenal. We have Sheffield United, Arsenal. I think we have a couple of, Fulham or so, and then we have Leeds, and then we go to potentially Madrid. They come back from Madrid, home leg. Before the home leg, we have Everton away, which may be difficult, but hopefully we can back ourselves, and we have Madrid at home. So it's not a bad run. It's not Brighton. It's not West Ham, who are desperate. It's not Chelsea, right? It's Leeds and Everton, who are in the bottom part of the table. And if we play to our levels, we should be able to at least get the job done. All that's within a 4-week time spring, which is not bad, because by that time, if you win against Sheffield, you're in the FA Cup final, which is at the end of the season, after the Premier League. So no more FA Cup worries. It's literally just one Madrid game at home, one away, and then the Premier League games.
Yeah.
So I think we're in the rhythm to be able to get over. This is why the medical staff of the club are just, I mean, they're just wonderful people, man. I swear. You should give them a kudos, right? Because to get the players to this level to be fit, is by itself a miracle.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
So,
but this is why I said to you very early about the finals. If we get to the finals, the final week of the Premier League is the 28th. The FA Cup final's not till a week later, and then the Champions League's not till a week after that. So we'll have a week's rest in between everything.
There you go.
Yeah.
My only issue with the Sheffield United game is I don't want him to go too rotational.
I agree.
Okay. So
you still got to keep that respect there, because, and this was my issue, and I'm sorry, I know me and Carl had disagreement on it. This was my issue yesterday. To me, my only issue yesterday was it was too many changes at once.
Yeah,
I still think you've got to have a sprinkling. What I'd have done yesterday, for me personally, was if you're going to bring on Gomez, you're going to bring on Calvin Phillips, you're going to bring on Palmer, bring on Gundogan with them so he can ease that little. Because Gundogan, 15-20 minutes wouldn't have hurt him. And then he can sort of leadership those inexperienced few around. My issue yesterday is I just felt we ended up too inexperienced.
I agree with you, Martin. I do agree. I think the only thing is that it was a calculated risk. You're 3 up at halftime.
Yes, it was.
Okay, take a risk. We can see 1 goal. Okay, we should be able to get through. We should be able to. And we're lucky, and we got 3, which is it paid off. And
you need
I want to do.
Do you know why I love it? Do you know why I love it? Just quickly, I know you want to be. I love it. I'm hoping that's Brett. I'm hoping that's Pep's. You know, we always say Pep has a brain fart in him once a year.
Yeah.
And we always joke, don't we? Pep always has a brain fart in him once a year.
Yeah.
Even though it was not a brain fart because we got the job done, I'm hoping that was his little experimental phase of once a season out the way. I've changed the formation and I've thrown all my reserves on at halftime. Bang, away we go.
I think,
and I just, it's out your system. Thanks very much. Now.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna throw it to Don Smoke. Thanks for being on the show, my guy. I'm gonna throw this to you real quick. I think Pep, and the comment from Conway goes, Pep has just admitted that making subs early against Leicester was risky, and it's true. It's true. I don't know if the timestamps are there, but I think the last one subbed on was Sergio Gomez, and he had Sergio Gomez playing in Jack Grealish's position on the pitch in a way. So obviously he made a lot of changes, but I think he also did that because there was a portion in that game where the fight from Leicester was not there. Like it looked like they had quit. And obviously the manager brought on additional players, and Kalichi was still playing to that final whistle. So I mean, guys were playing for their badge, they're fighting. And Pep, again, whether it was a brain fart, calculated risk, I don't think he does it again, and definitely not to that level. But Don Smoke, this is what I want to throw to you as I go back to the fixture list. And thanks for being on the show. I asked the question. Yo, large up. I asked the question. The 11 that we see in Champions League, how different is the 11 that we see in the FA Cup? Because 4 days later, we play the important game against Arsenal. So the 11 at Champions League, is it much of a difference for the 11 against Sheffield United in the FA Cup semi?
Right. So the Champions League, we're going to go strong. That's not a question.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, there's 2 approaches for the Sheffield game, right? You can go with the rotational pieces and then hope that they get the job done and bring on the heavy hitters later on, or you can start with the heavy hitters and hope that they kill the game before the 60th minute mark. So you can, but then now the issue is this, right? As we saw with the Leicester game, once you've taken off your heavy hitters and you concede, you can't reverse it, right? Because you could be 2-0, 3-0 up, and then the equalizer is 2-2, and you've taken off Haaland, you've taken off KDB, you've taken off all your big players, it's done. You basically now have to hope that your rotational pieces get you over, which makes the job hard. So hence, I think it's a bit much more easier to start maybe with the rotational ones and then bring on the heavy hitters on in case the game is not killed, and then they can finish it off. Because, you know, even if it does go to extra time, you have your big players in there and they can win it for you. Then the other way around.
Yeah, it's going to be great. The preview shows on Pitch Points, Mancunian Away, True City Fan are going to be discussing just this. Here at CIA, we just bring up some intelligent things to maybe consider, but the in-depth conversations, and it's going to happen as we get closer to those matches. So let's definitely think about that. Now, I started today. Not expecting, not even thinking, entertaining anything with regards to this Arsenal versus West Ham. Not already concluded, 3 points. It is what it is. I get notification on my here. There's a score app. It's one of the apps that I use. I get a notification. Bloop, bloop, bloop. First goal, Arsenal. I'm like, yeah. See, I knew it. They're going to win this game. Later on, bloop, 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 bloop. Arsenal, another goal. Yeah, you know what? This is done. Let me just start brunch. Let me get everything ready with the fam. I then am messaged by my old neighbor telling me Arsenal just conceded 2-1. I'm like, what? I'm still like, we know what they do with extra time. We know what they do with regards to the game. I did not expect West Ham to do anything. Lo and behold,
I did.
Oh, we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna throw it to the entire panel because I want to hear you guys take. Lo and behold, it ends up being 2-2. There's a West Ham. I know many fans, many City fans would have been like, West Ham, can you do something for me? I know many City fans were asking. I was like, nah, I don't expect it. After they drop points against Liverpool, nah, Arsenal, they've been way too consistent. They've been able to bounce back and get the results. No, there's no way they drop points again. 2-2 after having a 2-goal lead on West Ham, and West Ham aren't good. 2-2 against Liverpool. Yes, they were in Anfield, but they couldn't close out that game. Back-to-back draws. I'm going to throw this to you, Gundo, Don Smoke, because you said this. You expected this. 2-2, drop points. Let me ask you, did you expect a draw or did you expect a win from West Ham first off?
I was expecting a draw, right, at best.
Good prediction.
Right.
Okay.
So yesterday I was at the barber shop, right? My barber is an Arsenal fan, right? And I've been telling him that we've seen this before. Now the thing is with Arsenal is, and I said it earlier, that the tempo at which they play games is not sustainable over a 38-game season. I said it. To play football at that kind of tempo, and you see it. Hence, even against Liverpool, right? They will play well at first off because they're gonna come with all that pressing. They'll be electric, but you'll get tired. It's been a long season, right? And you must understand that part of their core, especially Partey is injury prone. So that means that his muscles are not conditioned to go at that intensity for 90 minutes over a 38-game period. So, and Jesus just came from an injury, right? And most of the players are kids, right? So, yes. So with Arsenal, it's all about can you withstand the onslaught? Because they'll give that onslaught. Hence, you see that first 10 minutes. I didn't watch the game, right? Because I didn't even get the notifications. I just heard 2-0. I'm like, okay. But anything is possible because at the end of the day, West Ham need the points and it's a home game.
Yeah.
And derbies are like that. It's back and forth.
Yeah.
If they end 3-2, 3-3, it's possible. I'm like, okay, there's still goals in this game. So when I saw that they drew 2-2, I wasn't surprised. I was like, yeah. And you're going to see, even Southampton, I feel as if they can withstand that onslaught of theirs. Second half, you can pick Arsenal. And most games they've been, and even if you see the way they got over the line, it was late minute finishes, some
Yes.
some
Late
dodgy,
drama. Yeah, late drama. They would say they were destined to win
but
this
they're not as
league.
convincing as they were the first half of the season. As I
Mhm.
said, they peaked too soon.
Ooh. See, they were told that this is a long season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I remember your analogy. It was absolutely brilliant about
The
that sprinter
Volta.
the
Yes.
sprinter that gets out early.
Acceleration versus top speed.
Yes, it's absolutely brilliant. Now I'm gonna throw this to you, Klilnical, my man. Did you expect West Ham to get anything from Arsenal? These two London teams. Did you expect any type of results?
So first of all, I have a question for all the Arsenal fans. Are you still happy to have one game a week? That's what I want to know.
Oh,
So I think it
that's
was back on the
torturous.
last CIA stream that we had, and if any of the viewers here haven't seen that, it was a great conversation. I'd recommend you go back and watch that. But I think it was you, Vader, who made the point. This is a London derby, and West Ham would want to have something to show for it in this game. They won't just roll over and let Arsenal beat them. And in the same fashion as that game against Liverpool that they had, I'm not gonna switch off the game unless they go 3 goals up, because at 2 goals, West Ham are still in the game. After they went 2 goals up, which they did in the first 10 minutes, from what I saw, Arsenal took their foot off the gas. They started passing the game around, similar to how we did after the start of the second half yesterday. They took their foot off the gas. They were just moving the ball around. Possession was the more focus at this point. But after they opened the door and let West Ham get that first goal with the penalty, in
Yeah.
which Partey did not have a good game today. I watched
No,
the
he
whole
did.
game, by the way. Partey did not have a good game today. Rice took the ball off him, drove into the box, and they won a penalty from that same play.
Okay.
When they go into the second half, 2-1 up, and still they're trying to get back into the game now, they got a penalty. And at that point, by not putting that away, that is when I heard the entire stadium erupt. I didn't hear anything through the entire stream before that, but the moment it was off target, it wasn't even a save. The entire stadium just burst into pandemonium.
You know
And
who missed the penalty last week? Salah.
exactly
He missed the
right.
penalty. Didn't even hit. He wasn't in on target either. Ooh, the
He did go for
similarity.
the sand. And to be fair, on Saka, that is the first penalty I've seen him miss for Arsenal as well.
He's missed a few, but I know what you mean. I got you.
Since that one against Euros, in the Euros for England, I don't think he's missed one for Arsenal yet until today. Maybe before that, but from what I can remember, I don't think he's missed one for them.
Sorry, when you said Saka, I heard Salah, but no, you're right. I don't think Saka's missed since Euros. You're right.
And Dan Smoke made the point as well. Earlier in the season, especially in that Bournemouth game, they scored the last kick of the game, and it was very Liverpool-esque, because I'm sure all you guys can relate. Over the title races in the past, we would see Liverpool playing, and it looked like they're about to drop points, and then out of nowhere, they just score a late goal, or they're down 1 and they score 2 to get a win, or a late draw or something to get a point off. And it's frustrating, but at that point, I didn't even feel frustrated, because I saw them do it so many times this season. I knew that their luck would run out at some point. And going back to them being only 1 game a week at this stage of the season, the players that they brought on haven't seen much football. So you can't expect, just because a month or 2 ago, Reece Nelson scored the last kick of the game, you're going to bring him on with 15 minutes to play and he's going to recreate the same magic. It doesn't work like that. So I honestly expected Arsenal to blitz them 4-0. I said that before the start of the game. I said the same thing against Liverpool as a joke, a little bit of a jinx, and it worked. But against West Ham, I genuinely thought there is no way West Ham get anything out of this.
Let me throw this to you, Pitch Points, Gundalorian, Carl. Can you speak to games this point of the season pressure at this point in the season, is that something that you think many of the Arsenal fan base and how many of these young players that are experiencing for their first time may have dismissed and not taken into account?
They don't understand the pressure it takes at this point in the season. Just go talk to Liverpool. Go talk. Do you think that Liverpool dropping off every season after they lost by a point is by accident? It's the pressure, man.
Mm.
You know, I talked about this earlier, and I said that Arsenal's honeymoon period of easy home games is over before the Liverpool game. I said it, and I got slandered for saying what I'm saying. It's over. Your games against Vieira's Palace 4-0, Leeds United 4-1, Bournemouth, you just escaped 3-2. It's over. It's over. Villa, you got lucky because Martinez flapped the ball into the net by himself. Foolish things like that. It's over.
Let me say this, because Blue points out Arsenal's next game is Friday, the only Premier League game on that day. Everyone will be watching. The eyes, the pressure on them. I want to go back to this one game a week that Klilnical brought up. And Martin, these players have to wait. This loss, or not loss, this draw, but drop points has to fester for another week. Can you speak on that as from a coaching standpoint, or even from a fan base standpoint, what that can do to the team?
Oh, listen, if you haven't been there before, the pressure racks up. Trust me. And the problem is not because the problem is you have to win. You can't drop a point, right? So if you could get a point away and you win it, fine. The pressure is not as much. But the pressure now is that you cannot drop a single point. You have to get 3 points, because right behind you is this shark who are relentless and who've been there not once, not twice, probably 4 times. Remember the year of Pellegrini all the way through?
Yes.
Sorry about now.
Okay, excellent, Martin. This is one thing I want to put out, and let me say this from JP. He goes, the pundits from TalkSport all also said that the City results versus Forest was just a freak result, and he couldn't see City dropping many points if they play like that. He got hammered again when he said that. Now I want to say this, because we talk about the one game a week. We talk about the teams being prepared for it, being built for it. I heard this on a space, and they tried to. I believe Gundo, I think you were in there, and one of the Arsenal fans was talking about, City the last 4 or 5 years, they've been fighting with Liverpool. But I actually want to go back to the Aguero moment. The Aguero moment was that pressure, was that pursuit to close out a season. It's not this short history that they're talking about. It's DNA levels now. Because
Martin, remind me, how many games was it? 8 points, and how many games left to play?
8 points, 5 games.
There you go.
We came away from the Emirates thinking it was game over.
I remember that.
And we had to, and it's very similar actually. That season we had to play United in the derby, and
at home 1-0.
We all went in, and everyone was thinking United are going to turn up, United are going to do this, and we just blew. Even though it was only 1-0, we blew the house down, and we knew from there on in. Yeah, I know what happened on the last day. There's an old saying, ignorance is bliss. And Arsenal fans have been sat on this ignorant lap for far, far too long. Listen, you can educate, you can explain, you can go through everything you want to do. Every City fan has always given Arsenal props and said, you've done well, congratulations, you're a fantastic team. We've never had that respect given back. And this goes back to your point earlier. United were doing this, and everyone was scared and giving them all the respect. Because it's little old City. Oh, no, everything you've done in the past is forgotten about, and we're going to... It's like and this is the part I was trying to make last week, and it's actually quite... Well, we're in a space earlier. They went to Anfield, they got that point, and it was Anfield's made, it's a great point, and it's a great this, because they've got this home record. And I just kept saying, look at our home record.
Right.
Our home record is better than Anfield this season. We haven't lost at home in Europe for about 3 or 4 years. For them to even think they've got the audacity to turn up at the Etihad and think they're just going to roll in and take 3 points like it's candy off a baby, I'm sorry, they're in major trouble if they think that.
I agree.
And I said last week, look at Zinchenko's reaction sat on that bench at Anfield. He knew what was happening.
He knows.
Yeah.
He is not stupid. He's been in our dressing room. He's been with our manager.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what's coming. This thing, I got told by an Arsenal fan earlier on, City aren't doing the runs with 10 games straight winning.
Yes, and you know what? I tweeted this as well. I said they are already, because they're dismissing the run that they're on because they're only looking at league play. They've crashed out at every cup run, so they don't realize that the win tally is what you should be looking at, not just Premier League.
There's two differences. We said it last week, didn't we? Once a week game is great if you are winning them games.
Yeah.
When you are struggling and playing every 3 days is not great if you are struggling. It's the opposite though. If you keep blowing teams away every 3 days, you are bouncing into training. You are bouncing into the next game.
Because every player wants to be part of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is a reason Manchester City fans are cool as cucumber right now.
And let me speak on that. This is the thing, and we've said this. Don Smoke, Klilnical, Martin, Carl, Gundalorian, Patrick. He's not here, but we've all said this. The energy amongst a fan base flows between manager and club, manager and players. This not quite sure of themselves. This can we do it? This, what are we experiencing for the first time? That type of energy is happening with this fan base. They're 20 years removed from it. The muscle memory is gone. The mental memory is gone. They don't know how to cope. And I think that's going to be so important with regards to how to just remain calm, how to treat this next game and get a result. The fan base are freaking out. These are 2 games, drop points before they've even played us. Pressure busts pipes. And we've all been there before. The difference is, we've all experienced pressure, and we all know that with experience comes a calmness, comes an understanding. Arsenal aren't there yet. The players are not there yet.
They printed the T-shirts. They did the same mistake Liverpool did.
Then those T-shirts are going to get shipped out for charity, and they're going to be all over the place for those to be wearing it, wear it, because it's not going to qualify. It's not going to justify a league win this year.
I'm telling you now, mate. Just very quickly, and then I'll be quiet. That's a very young Arsenal team.
Yes.
If they think Anfield and they think the London Stadium was bouncing today, well, so they come to the Etihad on that Wednesday night.
I'm not even warning them. Don't even warn them. If they don't,
I'm telling you now, they are going to get a shock.
I agree.
Major shock.
I want to say this real quick. Conway goes, they sacrificed all their other competitions just to end up potentially going trophyless. And they had a brilliant start. No start that they've had has resulted in not winning the league. I'm going to have to do this, and I hate that I have to do this, guys. But let's look at real quick. Arsenal's next game is Friday against Southampton. The same way, maybe I was a little too dismissive. The same way I see Southampton is the same way I looked at West Ham. I could be wrong for it. I'm not expecting anything. Arsenal should get easy 3 points versus them. Okay, let me hear it. Talk to me.
You must understand Southampton's position, right? Every game for them now until the end of the season is a final, right? Mm-hmm. And they're gonna pop that bus. For them, a draw is a win. They just here for hit and run, literally. And they are quite frustrating, right? Especially at this point of time. And then this is one of the things whereby the 2 draws will come to haunt Arsenal. The thing is this: when you're playing against a low block, you need patience. But then now you must understand that these Arsenal players are not going to be patient. They'll be agitated. They'll be nervous.
Yes.
So they'll want to rush things, right? And then it becomes that thing of whereby And because even if you see us against a low block, Pep always tells our players to be patient, pass it around, try to pull them out. But then it's one of the thing of playing one game a week. So you don't get time to really. It's not like you're flowing. Like as Martin says, you're not blowing teams every 3 days.
There's only so much you can do in training, right?
Smoke.
Yeah.
So you're gonna rush certain things, and then it becomes frustrating. Whereby you may overcommit, and then here comes a counter.
Smoke. Let me just add a nugget to your. Didn't West Ham play on Thursday in Europe?
Yes, they did.
Oh, okay.
They were tired.
You know what? I know why Gundo triggers some of these rivals in these spaces.
I trigger them all the time.
Because the way how you just asked the question, you just asked that question is leading you to listen, and then
I was wondering how they played on Thursday in Europa League. They came back. They went to Belgium, stayed in a horrible hotel. Apparently, in the hotel they were staying in, the Belgian fans were singing there, clapping noise with fireworks to disrupt their rhythm. They left late after the game, very late at night, 11 p.m. They got back on a Friday. Okay, had one training session and out today to play.
Warriors.
And still.
Do you know what bothers me? In Manchester City, if we'd have got a point yesterday, or we get a point somewhere, that we're not sat there going point gained, point gained, point gained.
That's experience.
I'm sat there. They're sat there gaining a point at Anfield and a point at London Stadium in a title running. As I said to someone earlier, in October, November, great, have a party, enjoy yourself. You got a point at Anfield. This is the last 100 meters. This is not the time to be stumbling and fumbling.
Exactly right.
Martin, that's the difference of having experience of being in title runs, where you realize that you need to win everything. Now, the funny thing is this. Southampton is a must-win for Arsenal. If they draw, then the lead is gone. It goes from 1 to -1.
And we've not even played them yet.
Okay, now Don Smoke said he expects a fight from Southampton. He's not saying that's a 3 points.
That's a draw. I say a draw.
You say draw. I hear you. I'm saying 3 points Arsenal. Klilnical, what are you saying? What's Southampton Arsenal match? Arsenal at home. Win, lose, or draw. What are you saying?
Well, I'm saying this for the third time in a row, but I again genuinely believe Arsenal should come out of this game with 3 points. I can't see going any other way.
Okay, Arsenal 3 points. I'm gonna throw this to you, Martin. What's Arsenal versus Southampton at home? What are you saying?
Because it's at home, I think they should do it because Southampton are awful.
Okay. And Gundo, my guy, Blue Goes baited questions. Though Gundo is the master of it. He draws in those rivals, he curates them, and then he schools them. What are you saying, Gundo?
Yeah, there was a guy who was talking about coming to the Etihad to beat City, and I'm like, guy, you haven't even beaten us with the B team at home, and we slapped you at the Emirates. I mean, what are you talking about, man? You haven't beaten City in 5 years. What are you talking about, guy? Arteta's going to show up at the Etihad with those boys and beat Guardiola and the team and De Bruyne? Come on, man. Let's talk. Anyway, Southampton will get a point.
Okay. All
The
right.
reason I say that is Southampton in the game that they played at St. Mary's against Arsenal got a point, and they almost got the win.
All right.
And it's more heart than head in this one. But I'm
I'm with you. I'm with you. I want to say this real quick. I'm gonna give. I want you to please go into the details of this channel. You'll see the description. I have pitch points. I have Martin Mancunian Way. I have True City Fan Patrick. I've also got the links to Klinical's channel, YouTube channel. Please go there. If you liked this live stream today, please also go to their channels. They do brilliant content. Go subscribe and check them out. Don Smoke's Twitter handle, I believe, is in the description as well. Follow him. He always brings the smokes to the rivals, and he also goes and represents for us City fans on Have Hope's Football Hut over on his channel. So we're everywhere, and we're doing our best representing the City fan base. I do have to bounce. I want to thank you all so very much for being the CIA intelligence agents this week. and for being part of the panel. And we're going to catch you all next week. Do not miss us. Lots to talk about. There's previews in the Champions League. Do not miss out their channels. I do have to drop. Love you dearly. Bless.
Take care, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye, Watson.